Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. John here with FNP Wargamers, and this is the FNP Morning Show. I hope everybody's having a very good morning. I know that pretty much most of the country is freezing their butts off right now. And if that is you, you have my sincere, or my sympathy, because right now, here in Cypress, Texas, or Houston, it's easier to say Houston, it's pretty cold. I woke up and it was 34 degrees outside, and my house I forgot to turn the heat on last night, knowing it was going to be cold, and so it was like 42, 43 in the house. Normally I'm not big on, excuse me, I'm not like, oh my God, it's so cold. I'm from the north, originally from Ohio, excuse me. Spent some time and then lived most of my life in Kansas. So, the cold, I was used to the cold. I mean, hey, 30, 40 degree weather, yay, until I moved to Texas. Texas likes to do things big and, well, grandiose. So in a big, grandiose way, they took away my tolerance or my acclimation to the cold. So F you, Texas. I do not appreciate that. And I did not, in comparison or reciprocating, I did not pick up an acclimation to the heat. The heat still sucks. So, F you, Texas. Thank you for ruining my love and joy of the cold. So, I'm trying to get everything set up here. Once again, you'd think one of these days I would be ready to go. Still trying to figure out why my phone, maybe you guys might know why my phone, when I try to watch the show live on my iPhone, that it won't show what is going on. It will just show like the first minute, but it won't show the rest of the live show, and then it stops. So I'm not sure what's going on. It's kind of annoying that. Anyways, I'm drilling on. So I got a lot of ground to cover and only a little bit of time. So I need to do a recap before we go into things. I intended this morning to cover strictly everything about the Inquisition, but a whole bunch of information dropped to my lap last night, and then I had some time to process it. Did a little bit of research this morning, so the images in here, it's just thrown together. It's really bad, and I apologize. I was just in a rush, and it's not the type of production quality that I would normally like to have. So please forgive me for the graphics this morning. It was a last minute thing. So, like I said, information dropped into my lap, and so I had to basically scramble to make things happen. Sorry, I'm trying to warm up with the coffee. My place is it's at 66 now, so it's warm. Yay! All right, so let's cover what I was going to talk about yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to. So, about a week ago, or about 2 weeks ago, it could be 3 weeks, let's say within the past month, there was a lot of chatter and rumors that there were going to all of a sudden be these new Primaris Tech Marines and Chapter Champions. There's this host of new HQ and elite characters that were coming out. There's going to be new models, etc., etc. We now know where that source is, where that source came from, and I'll pull that up here in just a second. So it's, at least as of right now, no, there's no more new models that should be in the Space Marine Codex or in any of the supplements. It is categorically false that is happening. That was just a lot of rumors and speculation based on some pretty janky information. Man, I really wish that I could watch this show, make sure everything is going good. It's pretty janky information to begin with, and it came from a source that was okay. They're right about half the time, and usually, I shouldn't even say right half the time, they're right, but it's not a very clear picture. So let's do the clear picture and just go ahead and put this to rest. So here it is. I'm surprised I missed it. I totally forgot about it until somebody brought it up last night, and I was like, son of a bitch. You're right. So, coming on Psychic Awakening 2, there's all these stratagems that's going to be coming out. Master of the Chapter litanies that's going to go along with the Master of Sanctity, so new litanies. Master of the Forge, Chief Librarian, Chief Apothecary, Chapter Ancient, and Chapter Champion. These are all going to be stratagems that you're going to pay for to upgrade people that are in your army. I don't know how these are all going to fit. I don't know what special abilities they're going to grant, but this might be a way for you to go, hey, I'm going to turn that captain or that, let's just say that Primaris captain into my chapter champion. Hey, and I'm doing Black Templars. I now have an Emperor's Champion, Primaris, without them actually having to do a whole new model because, like we said, they only want to put out rules for models that they have in print. So no new Emperor's Champion. So how do they get around that? Boom, guys, here's your strategy. We don't have a Primaris Master of the Four or Tech Marine. Okay, we're screwed with that one. So where's our basis for that? Well, let's find Master of Sanctity. One command point. You turn a chaplain into Master of Sanctity. He gets one additional litany, and he can recite one additional litany on top of that. It's pretty much going to be the same thing for every one of those. It's going to be some sort of ability that they're going to get that keyword. They're going to get some upgrades. Everything's going to be really cool. Everybody's going to be happy campers, and yay. So that is where those character ideas were coming from. It was definitely not brand new characters or new models that were coming out. It was just strictly, hey, we got some, this is how we're going to get around all that new stuff. Man, I'm really upset that I can't watch those videos. That is really upsetting. Very upsetting. Oh well, screw you, phone. All right, so I am definitely dragging on here. That covers that. Something else I wanted to cover was, before I get into Black Templars, we might not get into too much of the Inquisition today, and I'll explain why. Because we don't need to do full coverage, and once again, I'll explain why. So let's go ahead and cover something else. They're like, John, why are they putting the Inquisition in the White Dwarf when they got all these new models coming out? If you guys will remember, there was a leak a few weeks ago that we gave you that also included on the 23rd of November a whole bunch of Inquisitor models that were coming out, some Demon Hosts. There was a whole bunch of new assassins like the Vindicare, Caluxus, Caladius, and Eversor. There was a new Imperial Confessor. Everybody's like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. We're getting all these new models, and we don't have to get a White Dwarf, which doesn't make sense. But yeah, I was skeptical because looking at the prices, looking at the sneak peeks we've gotten, the rumorville, and the leaks that I get from my people, I was skeptical. Then I started putting it together, and I just got confirmation yesterday on this. And that's where this initial graphic here that it's going to go away in just a moment is going to come into play. So make sure, yeah, I'm streaming. Okay, good. So what am I talking about? These models right here are, with the exception of this Witch Hunter with the Puritan style hat down at the bottom, these models are no longer available at Games Workshop. These are their classic Inquisitors. In fact, this one in the upper left-hand corner, this awesome looking one with this relic looking plasma pistol, is actually a Games Day model, so he's no longer available anyways, but I put him up there just to highlight because I was thinking, oh, this is the plasma pistol one. So we know that there's Imperial Confessor Kirinov is coming back, and I couldn't find an image of him right off the bat. Inquisitor with a power sword. Okay, well, right there's a female Inquisitor with a power sword. We have an Inquisitor with an Inferno pistol. That is an Inferno pistol, even though it looks more like a rifle. What is this? Could this be, yep, Witch Hunter Inquisitor with a plasma pistol. So there's all these Witch Hunters right there. Pretty interesting. And then we got a Demon Hunter Inquisitor with a Grimoire. Well, there he is right there. So what the heck? Well, almost all these models and the Inquisitors online, and I'll get to those images in just a moment. Let me just remove these. So these models are normally, oops, my apologies. I totally messed that up. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. Oh, man. Trying to mess with these quick graphics in the morning really mess with my brain pan. So let me reveal this. And let's cut on over. I am really regularly organized, guys, but I a lot of this stuff was hastily put together today, and since I'm doing a live show, I can't do the same level of quality that doing a pre-recorded show and clean everything up. So you got to bear with me. I'm really sorry, guys and gals. So the reason why I bring these up is these are the only ones that are currently available online. So $18 for that Inquisitor. $18 for that Inquisitor. Oh, so he's still available. Okay. And $18 with this one, with the combi weapon. Awesome, awesome. So, or $15 for this one. So, what are these new ones? Well, these new ones, and I got to give Games Workshop credit on this one. These new ones are those pictures that I showed you just earlier. They are repackaged and with a price increase because all the characters and HQs for Games Workshop, Warhammer 40,000 and AOS, Age of Sigmar have gone up to a minimum of $25. So bring the old line in with the current pricing. They increased $7 on all the stuff that was sitting in a warehouse because nobody was buying it. Nobody was buying it. That's how they had so much extra stock. It's just sitting there because nobody was buying it. So you're like, man, why are they going to buy it now, John? Let me lay out a kind of a scenario. Let's imagine that Bob is kind of in charge of doing the marketing. He's trying to sell stuff. And then along comes Todd, because we don't like Todd. Todd comes out and say, hey, Bob, got a great idea. I'm not going to do a British accent because I don't want to insult GW too much here. So, hey, Bob, we got all these models. We want to move them. I've got a great idea. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Let's get rid of these crappy models. We can just put them up, last chance to buy. He's like, no. I got a better idea. Let's increase the price. But Todd, why do we want to increase the price when nobody's buying it? Well, Karen over in the rules writing department, she essentially got an idea. Let's go ahead and crank out an Inquisition or Inquisitor Imperialis update in a white dwarf. So we're going to sell a crap ton of those white dwarfs. They're going to sell out. And we're going to be able to go on later and go, hey, this is another one of our sellout magazines. Well, that's cool, Todd. That's cool. I like this. But what do you mean? Well, we're going to update the rules. Since the indexes are going away, if people want the rules, they're going to need to get this white dwarf, right? Okay, you're right. We can go ahead and increase the prices for these models that are just sitting here, right? And people are going to buy them up because there's brand new updated rules for them. They're going to need an Inquisitor model, so we're going to make money hand over fist because people are going to pay more money for the models that have been sitting there that we will deliberately pull off the available to buy right now. And then 6 months from now, when we do this, we launch the models at a new price, but it's only web store only, save us some money, and we'll do the new rules. So we're basically going to be making a bunch of money for no reason. I mean, people are just going to give us money for all this stuff. You know what, Todd? I like that idea. You go ahead and let Karen know. I appreciate that. And let's go ahead and get that ball rolling. And then here we are in November. So how do I know? Well, I saw the actual retail list of what is coming out on the 23rd. It is nothing but Warhammer Underworlds. There's no Warhammer 40,000 stuff coming out, except for an omnibus. That doesn't count. All that Witch Hunter stuff, all the Demon Host, all that stuff is going to be web store only. With the codes, it's going to be web store only. It is definitely not coming to stores unless your stores order online, have it shipped to the store. but it's not going to be available in stores, not a retail release. It is going to be web store only. And there's other things. You're like, well, John, those are going to be brand new Assassins. Well, let me roll you back a little bit. Currently, the Assassins are sitting at $32 a pop. And these are the new plastic sculpts. The new sculpt, or these new sculpts that people are talking about, are actually the original first two sculpts. And that's why they're sitting at a $25 value, because it's a smaller model, doesn't involve plastic, and they're very likely fine cast, or they could possibly be the metal ones. I doubt the metal ones, because I believe they said they're going to stop carrying the metals. I think Sisters of Battle was the last of it. So they've increased the price, because I believe they were like $15 or $19.99 or something like that, and then they increased the price, and they're just re-releasing it for a limited time, and it will be limited time only. So really, it's nothing new coming. It's just a bunch of price increases on product that they pulled for this release. Do I have proof that they pulled it for this release? No, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense that they held on to that product that was not selling. It was easy just to go ahead and pull the links off of their website, and then go, hey, look, we brought these back just for you, and oh, a white dwarf is available. Well, you should just buy that. I'm pretty sure that is what has happened. Do I have proof? No, but gosh darn it all to hell, it is very likely. So let's get on a little bit more. Let's move on past that. Well done, GW. You got us. You got us, man. Okay, so I had a couple people also ask, why wasn't the Black Templar put into the Codex supplement? Well, two reasons, and I'm theorizing, but there's enough credibility or enough evidence to kind of support that. The Codex supplements have only so much room. They have a volume that they have to fill page-wise, and then once they hit that page capacity, they have to stop. And by putting, you would have for Imperial Fists, you would have the Fists, Crimson Fists, and the Black Templar with rules. And that's a lot of information to cram in there, especially when you're trying to keep the same consistency of all the supplements. So by not putting the Black Templars in there, though they are Sons of Dorn and members of the Imperial Fist, they are so divergent in their chapter tactics that they didn't really belong in that book, and they didn't have enough room. And so that's one. Then on the flip side, or on the, in parallel, it made sense that, hey, we want every faction to have rules. And so let's go ahead and put this new Space Marine rules, because we don't know what to do with Space Marines, because we just did all these codexes and all these codex supplements. Well, here you go, guys and gals. We put Space Marine stuff in here, so they give us those nice little upgrade stratagems for all Space Marine chapters, the Chapter Master, the Master of Sanctity, Chief Librarian, whatnot. So cool, that benefits us all, and yep, that right there is a whole new rule set of information for Black Templar. I think it was about 20 pages, minus any artwork or any story stuff. So it was not enough room, and it gets people to buy this book. It gets them to buy the Psychic Awakening books because it has updated information. Oh, you're Chaos Space Marine players and you want Legion stuff? You want your own Legion stratagems? You want your own Legion Warlord traits and your own Legion relics? We got you, fam. We got you. Buy this book. We didn't include it in your book, in your main book, when we put out Chaos Space Marine 2 earlier on in this year, and you're not going to get your own Legion book yet. So we're just going to go and put this in here, let you have something, because we care about you and we want your money. Cool. Thank you very much, Games Workshop. I feel so good now. I am now more committed into buying your stuff because you went out of your way to give me stuff that I should have already gotten. Cool. Thank you so much. So no new HQ types. I already went through some of the data sheets that I received. I'm not going to put them up because I guess I could crop the images, but I should have thought about that. I could have cropped the images. Maybe I'll still do that. There's definitely some stuff in the picture frame that would have shown off probably who it was. So I'm going to look at going in there and scrubbing, using some maybe MS Paint or something to get rid of all that stuff, and then remove the background, make it a PNG file. So no new rules, just cleaned up. So all the data sheets for the Black Templar is going to be in there. It's just cleaned up information. There's going to be some rewording of the text to come in line with all the FAQ updates for Space Marine Codex, including stuff like Shock Assault and Angels of Death and everything. So you're going to see that information in there, and it's going to be cleaned up to be in step or in sync with current supplements and the main codex. But it's not, nobody's getting Primaris, nothing's happened like that. Chapter Master Valric over on YouTube had mentioned, it was really, when I went back and watched, he was talking about, I think he was hoping that the Emperor's Champion model would have, or unit data sheet would say Primaris. I'm sorry, if it was going to be Primaris, just like they did with the lieutenants, the captains, the librarians, and the chaplains, they would have put Primaris Emperor's Champion, or like they do Primaris Captain, Primaris Chaplain. Sorry, it's not going to happen. But if that Chapter Champion stratagem works out the way I think it will, you'll be able to make your Emperor's Champion for your Black Templars, and he could be a Primaris character. More than likely, you're going to be able to take a captain or a lieutenant and turn them into the Chapter Champion. So, there was, so no new HQ types. I already mentioned that. I already talked to Black Templar rules clear up. We know that there was not enough room in the supplements. That's why they put that information in this book. And plus, they want to make money. That's why Black Templar are in here. Let's see. So currently, no Black Templar Primaris. I don't think we're going to see anything specific about them. I already covered that. And so this popped up today. Let me also go ahead and just double check. Let me re-verify that nothing else popped up, because they've been kind of been doing things weird here with the releases. It used to be at 9 a.m. Central Time. You could see all the updates, and now they're spacing it out. I mean, it's 10:20, about 10:15 when this popped. So they went ahead and they're covering the Black Templar information that's going to be in the book. Not all of it, mind you. But here's their chapter doctrine, which is something I just started calling. So this is going to be cool. The Knights of Sigismund. So basically, when you have the assault phase up, or the assault doctrine up, any attacks made by a Black Templars model, so they have to have Black Templars keyword, and they're not a vehicle, and in a turn in which the model made a charge move or performed heroic intervention, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 automatically scores a hit and successfully wounds the target. You don't have to make a wound roll. That's kind of cool. It sucks that you have to wait till basically turn 3 before you can get to this. So that's kind of bad, unless they have a trait in there, and we don't know what their traits are. They're going to have about 4 to 6 traits. So, or yeah, 4 to 8 traits. And we don't know what they are. They might have one that lets them dip out of a doctrine faster. They can go, boom, you know what? Beginning of the round, we're going to go ahead and go to assault doctrine right away, and that, maybe it'll happen. I don't know. We'll see. But that's cool, but it's also kind of bad, because right now Space Marines are not the greatest for close combat. So we know that there's new Warlord traits, Stratagems, relics, and they're also getting their own line, their own litanies. So litanies of they didn't say what they are. Anyways, Epitome of Piety is a Warlord trait. Basically, your Warlord can deny psychic powers. Yay! Cool, since we don't run Psychers, now we get it. Oh, Litanies of the Devout. So they have 6 of those coming for their chaplains. You pop that 1 stratagem point to get your Master Sanctity. Now you have 3 litanies with a chaplain, and you can burn 2 of them off, which might be good. Fires of Devotion. This litany, basically, if the unit makes a charge move or performs a heroic intervention, add 1 to the attack characteristic of models in that unit until the end of turn. You combine that with Shock Assault. Great. Now your total +2. If they are the regular Crusader squads, they have the chain sword, so now they're at 3 attacks. So that's 4 attacks on the charge that they're getting. That's not too bad. And remember, 10 guys making 40 attacks. and about 17, 18%-ish. I'll just be generous, say 20% of those attacks are going to be sixes. So 20%, let's say 6 to 8 of those attacks. So that means those are going to be at least 6 to 8 automatic hits. Cool, or more or less, but let's just say 6. Automatic hits and wounds. So that's not a bad start. And then you have to roll for all the other attacks. Okay, there's something there. You might be seeing more assault squads than crusader squads. Maybe some Vanguard veteran squads. I could see that happening. Maybe not so much Terminator squads, but who knows. Shock and All, one of their first stratagems, select one unit from your army that disembarked from Land Raider. This is the one that I told you guys about months ago, that select one infantry unit. Once they disembark from the Land Raider Crusader, until the end of the turn, units cannot fire Overwatch at the selected unit, and when resolving an attack made against that unit, you subtract 1 from the hit roll. That information was given to me months ago, but I couldn't give it credibility. Now, here it is. So cool. That's awesome. There's a kind of a reason to take a Land Raider now. You can still put an assault squad without jump packs in there. So I don't know. That could be cool. Sword of Judgment. Basically, you're getting the super sword that the Emperor's Champion has. So if that chapter champion trait pans out, you make a character, probably a captain, you make him a champion of the chapter or chapter champion. Your Emperor's Champion, he's a Primaris now, because it was a Primaris captain. You give him this sword. Now he basically is an Emperor's Champion, all but name only. And you know what? Forge the narrative. So that's going to be cool. And I went on way too long, and that's okay, because I didn't want to go over too much, because most of you guys have already said, or we discussed last night, or you're like, we're chattering about everything Inquisition that's coming out. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out with the Inquisition. Are they going to be game breakers? No. And the reason why I'm not going to cover too much of it is because that information, everybody that had the same source got the information dump at the same time. And it was just like, all right, I can't really do a show on this. That's why I didn't talk about it too much last night. There's no point when it's already over like 4 different websites on 4 or 5 different channels. So I'm just going to do some highlights. So I don't even know why I had these images up there. I think I was just going to be kind of cool and clever, but there's no point. I'm just going to get rid of all those extra little images there. We don't care about those. Those are boring. So let us talk about those rules. Let me just kind of go down here. Let's have something cool up on the screen. I don't have my Becca Scott. In fact, while I'm going to do that, I'm going to go ahead and get Becca Scott up here, because I need some Becca Scott in the morning, because there's nothing else that's probably safe to pull up on here besides some Becca Scott. So what are we going to cover? The most important thing is, how does the Inquisition affect your army? Because I think one of the first things that people looked at was, what are the cool relics? What are the cool special abilities? What can I do with all this stuff? And why can I not find frickin' stuff with Becca Scott? You know what? We're done looking for Becca Scott. We're just going to leave it right here. That's just frustrating. So one of the things I really wanted to show you guys, really talk about, was how the keywords, there are special abilities like the Authority of the Inquisition and the Quarry, plays into effect, because this is how your Inquisitors are going to interact with your army. Now, I'm not going to read this verbatim, but I'm just going to highlight the big things. So Quarry essentially is an ability that allows your Inquisitor and anybody with the those keywords, whether it's Ordo Xenos, Malleus, or Hereticus, or actually I was really surprised that they put the Ordo Minoris in there, like the Obscurus, the ones that deal with time and whatnot, or Chronos is the ones that deal with time. Obscurus, I believe they're the ones that are investigating everything to do with Legion of the Damned. So it basically just gives you rerolls against that chosen target. So for example, Ordo Xenos, you basically, if the target is not Chaos, Imperium, or Unaligned, you can reroll the hit rolls. So basically, if your opponent is Xenos, you get reroll hit and reroll wound rolls. So you might be thinking, man, that's super powerful. but not too much, because the Inquisitors are not very powerful, ladies and gents. They are not powerful. Yes, you can get the Jokero in there, and you can get your Acolytes in there, but you're not going to be dishing out lots of damage. Most of the time, I foresee, outside of narrative or really super casual play, mainly in whether it's a tournament or you're just wanting to try out a competitive list, you're really only going to see the individual Inquisitor. You might see some of the named ones, but really at the end of the day, point wise, I foresee the main one being the Ordo Malleus. He's one that really has, I think, the best features that people are going to go for. So how do you use them? Well, you can either take an Inquisition detachment, or you can, if I'm reading this right, let's see here. He can be included in any other detachment without taking up a slot, so long as every other unit in your army has the Imperium key word. And he does not prevent other units in your army from benefiting from detachment abilities such as chapter tactics, and does not prevent abilities that require every model in your army to have that ability. So if they have combat doctrines, canticles of the Omnissiah, pretty much anything that, hey, if you're including this guy in your detachment or in your overall army, you lose your abilities. Not anymore, at least not with the Inquisition, which does make sense. The Inquisitors, they're supposed to just be able to slide right in, not disrupt anything, and conduct their operations. So that's really cool, and I think that's why you'll see at least the cheap version of it. So we have plenty of pages of stuff. Jokero Weaponsmith doesn't look like anything. All the things I've seen in here does not look like they've changed how everything was in the index. They cleaned up some of the language to be in line with what we've been seeing in the FAQs and what they're prepping for the next edition, but nothing, drastically different. So regular Inquisitors around 50-ish points. I don't know how much I can say, but I'm not going to say that it's 55 points. I'm not going to say that the cheapest of the named characters is 80 and the most expensive is 115. Definitely not going to say that, because that could be giving away information. So nothing looks different. They did include the Telethesia discipline, and this is where you're going to, I think, reason why you're going to see some of the Ordo Malleus Inquisitors in the game more than anybody else, because they have their own psychic power. Each of the majors, Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus, have their own psychic power. So they already have Terrify, Psychic Fortitude, Dominate, Mental Interrogation, Psychic Pursuit, and Castigation. These are old school psychic powers that either individuals had or they're from the previous edition. They're nothing really new. You're going to get a great chance to read it later on, especially if you pick up your White Dwarf. But the one that's in of particular power of interest for the Ordo Malleus, this is the one I think you're going to see the most of, is Power Through Knowledge. Warp charge of 6. If it's manifested, select one friendly Imperium infantry or Imperium biker unit within 12 inches of this model, this psyker, and until the start of your next psychic phase, models in that unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. You're going to see that. You might only be able to get that power off once, but you're going to see that happening. And that's 55 points to give your juicy Uber unit a 5+. Oh, is that, are those, is that a 6-man Devastator squad? Or a Centurion squad? Yeah. And I gave him 5+ invul. Oh, that's not good. So you're going to see that. For 55 points, perfect. Their stratagems are okay. The only one that really kind of stand out was not Cyclonic Torpedo. That was way too expensive. 4 command points to maybe do some mortal wounds to people within a certain radius. Really? That's 3 at best. Let's see here. The other ones were C's for interrogation. So if an enemy character unit is destroyed within 3 inches of the Inquisitor or Inquisition units, you gain D3 command points. Okay. Spend 1 to maybe get 3 or just get a refund. It's very situational. I don't see it happening once per battle. They have the thing where you can also pick up another Warlord trait. Who cares? because you're really not likely going to be running him as your warlord. But you can give him that warlord trait even if he is not your warlord. So there might be a reason for it. Requisition. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a model in that unit, which can be an Imperial or Imperium infantry or biker unit, whenever you're resolving an attack made by that model, reroll a hit roll of 1. So that could be good. Spend a command point. Oh crap, I'm outside the range of my aura abilities of whatever my HQ choice is. So I need to reroll. I really need to be able to reroll these ones. I goofed. Boom, drop a command point and get those rerolls there. So, like I said, these are not super great, guys and gals, but it's going to be a nice little buff, especially since it does not interfere, and this is why I think you're going to start seeing them pop up. Having one of these guys, especially the Ordo Malus, having them in your army is not going to interfere with their normal ability. You just got to come up with 55 points to squeeze him in. Once he's in there, man, he's in like Flynn or she, whichever one you do. Who cares about what their equipment is? They are there just to buff your army. They are not critical. They are just a nice little 55 point boost. So that's how I see them going in. I mean, all the name characters are kind of good except for Karamazov, the guy that's walking around on that Throne of Judgment. He's okay, but Inquisitor Eisenhorn is decent. Greyfax is decent. Codiez, if any of them, Codiez will be the one that you'll see the most of. But I really think you're just going to take a regular Inquisitor, give them the most cheap equipment that you can give them. And I think they already start with a 2-up, 5-up. They have a refractor field and a 2-up armor or 3-up armor. Actually, you know what? I got the rules right here. Why am I even trying to guess? Inquisitor, he's got a 4+ armor save and a refractor field, so he's got a 4-up, 5-up. Not great, but who cares? He's there to buff for hopefully just one turn. And if he's a Psyker, dude, now you got somebody else that can cast out Smite, or they can deny a power. And attempts to deny 1 psychic power. Yeah, so not too bad for 55 points. And you don't have to, he's got a bolt pistol, a chain sword. So, and I'm pretty sure that the bolt sword and chain sword don't cost anything. They generally don't. Let's take a look. 0 points. Chain sword, 0 points. Man, 55 points. That's worth it. So with that said, my name is John. I got to go because I'm going to be late for going into work by about, I wanted to get there early today. Apologize for drinking on air. I hope you guys got something out of that. I'm going to try tonight, if everything works right, we're going to be doing a live show with TJ, Magnus, and Colin for the FN Pro team that went to Warzone Atlanta. And it's like going to be our first show since we've had to do some revamping and the Google Hangouts going down. So it's our first chance to get these guys on air. And I've got a whole bunch of questions from you all, so I'm going to ask them. And we're going to try to keep it about 30, 40 minutes. We don't want to do it an incredibly long time because they'll have been at work all day long. They're going to be tired, and I don't want to take up too much of their time. But we're going to try to answer the most important questions and avoid the kind of silly-ish ones. Like, what's your favorite color? You know, we're not going to cover that. Unless they want to answer that, then we'll cover it. So I'm going to go. I got to get out of here and brave the cold weather. So above me, there we go. Hit that subscribe button. If you're a Amazon Prime member, you do get a free 1-month subscription every month by linking your Amazon Prime to your Twitch. Military members, veterans, active duty, whatever. If you're within the military, you can right now with Amazon Prime get $40 off for your 1-year subscription. It drops it down to like $75, $76, $79, less than $80. So you can go ahead and get that 1-year subscription, Amazon Prime, for free. If you're a student, also, you can get Amazon Prime for free also. So take advantage of it. Patreon supporters, thank you so much. GameMat.eu, CreatureCaster, and Hammerhead Games, and Atomic Hobby Shop. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We appreciate our corporate sponsors. Thank you so much, everybody that's watching. Make sure if you're on YouTube, jump on over and hit a like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please hit a like on there. Hit that little thumbs up. Doesn't hurt. doesn't cost anything, and leave a comment, because that's how we spread the word of FNP Wargamers. So this is the FNP Morning Show. My name is John. I got to get to work. You all have a good day. I'll see you tonight, probably around 9 o'clock. That's what I think when in fact, 9 p.m. Central Time. That's when we're going to do the interview of FN Pro and their experiences at the Warzone Atlanta.